What on, brothers? Today we're going to be talking about the Imperial Guard Lasgun, or the Lasgun in general. Now, I do want to say that when I got off of work and came home, my wife was gone. She was at her cousin's, it turns out, with our baby. Now, what that means, my friends, is that I got a 4-hour nap, which is 3 hours more than my standard. So, I'm feeling pretty goddamn good about it, man. Feeling pretty good. But let's go ahead and get right into the shits, huh? The Lasgun. The Lasgun is an energy-based weapon and is the most common and widely used type of laser weapon in the Imperium. It is standard issue for all Imperial Guard infantry and most lower-ranked officers. Now, starting this, I do want to say that I am reading off of the Warhammer 40,000 or Warhammer 40k Lexiconum. I do suggest everyone who has a fascination with Warhammer 40,000, if you do not know, to visit the Lexiconum from time to time, as I am doing. Again, I am a quote-unquote newer fan. My dedication is there, but I am attempting to really take it in through reading this to all of you so that I can hold it within my memory banks myself, you know what I'm saying? But now, yeah, let's get right into it. Let's go over it. Let's go over the shits. Now, the overview. Lasguns are reliable, easy to maintain and produce, and are readily available on most Imperial worlds. They have longer range and higher ammunition capacity than a Las pistol. The Las pistol power packs having roughly 80 shots before depletion compared to roughly 150 shots for a Lasgun. Now, but are nowhere near as powerful as a Las cannon. They also lack the rapid fire quality of the multi-laser or the Hell gun. The Lasgun uses the same basic technology and operates alongside the same lines as the laser weapons, emitting a beam of focus light. The high amount of energy in the beam causes the immediate surface area of a target to be vaporized in a small explosion. It is a relatively unimpressive weapon when compared to other weapons in the Imperium, but is still capable of cleanly severing limbs or piercing the power armor of a Space Marine, but only through a vulnerable spot in the armor, to say that. Most designs have iron sights mounted along the top of the weapon. It is powered by a small, rechargeable power pack located beneath the weapon in front of the trigger guard. Now, to go over this a little bit, kind of, full dive. The Lasgun is, compared to our world, to our real world, an incredibly devastating weapon, an incredibly strong weapon. The Lasgun to a lightly armored to non-armored human is, one bolt, that's a death sentence. You get shot once with that Lasgun, you are most likely dead. If you have no kind of defensive measure, no kind of body armor at all, human versus human, the Lasgun is devastating. It is a powerhouse. The problem comes to the vastness of the Imperium's enemies themselves, and the differences in warfare between all of them. The orcs, incredibly large, brutish, they can't really feel pain in a sense. Their pain receptors are really, really dim, along with their bloodlust. It's just very hard for a Lasgun to bring down such a big fucking angry rage boy like that, right? And when it comes to Tyranids, well, they evolve to be able to absorb the heat and the round of a last shot. Comes to Chaos Marines, well, you take fucking Astartes plate, you take a Space Marine armor into factor, you really will not be able to kill a Space Marine unless you hit him in those weak points. Perhaps the joints, the lightly armored sections. And even then, if you were to able actually to pierce through that, which you could if you're lucky and a lucky shot, then you're still having to deal with the fact you're fighting a fucking Space Marine with a lasgun that can really only do damage through a vulnerable chink in the armor. Well, and on top of that, not only is it an Astartes, well, it's a Chaos Marine. It's a Chaos Astartes. If they follow Khorne, they're probably going to just get more pissed. They follow Sinesh, they probably, are just going to pop an extra long boner from the pain. You follow Nurgle, well, fuck it. And now his rancid blood is going to start poisoning everything on the ground. He's into it. Follow Tzeentch, well, then he's probably just going to cast a fucking fireball at you. The Lasgun in its use, it's a useful weapon, but for many enemies of the Imperium, it requires mass barrages of Lasgun fire to really prove effective. That's just kind of case in point how it is. There are, worse guns to have, obviously, ballistic weapons and stuff like that. They still could do their worth in battle, but there's a reason why they filled so many millions upon billions of Imperial Guard soldiers. There's a reason why you need 1 trillion Imperial Guard soldiers to take out however so many enemies in a grand campaign, if you will. Now, let's go ahead and get into, I want to go ahead and get to the Lasgun variants. Now, you have the standard issue, the regular, but you also have the Laz Carbine, a lighter, cut-down version of the Lasgun that is easier to carry and aim, but has fewer shots and shorter range. So this would be, I would feel, of more use to the guardsman that is mayhaps fighting other, let's say, a revolting world, other humans, and perhaps a hive, enclosed environments, something that can be quick to aim, easy to run with when checking corners, although given its fewer shots and shorter range. Going on, we have the Long Laz, a sniper variation of the Lasgun with a much longer barrel for increased range and accuracy, but increased difficulty to use in close quarters. This is, as it is said, a sniper rifle. It is a laser sniper rifle and is used by the Imperial Guard snipers, their division. This is obviously not something you're wanting to fucking start a bar fight with. You feel me? This is meant for long range. Snipers are meant for long range. You're not fucking quick scoping this shit. It's not in a video game. This ain't no Dawn of War 3. Okay? Going on, we have the Hellgun, an enhanced version of the standard Lasgun with superior armor penetrating capabilities. Now, despite its badass name, because I'll give it that, Hellgun's a badass fucking name, okay? This would be much more useful to use against, let's say, those Astartes. You have a squad of people with Hellgun, a squad of guard with Hellgun, all focus firing on one Astartes. Well, hell, you might even have a lucky chance of after many repeated shots, possibly piercing the more lighter armored sections instead of just having to hope and pray to the god Emperor himself to peg a joint with a bolt. Moving on, we have the Shot Laz. The Shot Laz, an illegal modification of a standard lasgun popular amongst the techrites and armor mongers of Footfall. The Shot Laz is rigged to discharge more energy per shot at the cost of beam coherence, with shots swiftly losing power and becoming ineffective at longer ranges. This is, as it states, a Shot Laz, a shotgun. This will be your premier weapon of choice where you forced to have to fight amongst a hive, I would feel. You have, a hive city, billions of people, billions of buildings to have to clear. So many close quarters possibilities. Not counting fighting in the streets and the longer ranges that could come from that. Now, it does state an illegal modification. Now, I myself do not know exactly how it is modified to make it a Shot Laz, or how illegal, like, would a commissar just fucking dome you, right? If he saw you with a fucking Shot Laz, or would it be like, well, we're in the middle of battle, I mean, it's working, I'm not letting it slide. I'm not too sure about that. I am curious about that. Somebody could let me know, that'd be great. But definitely the Shot Laz is the premier close quarters Lasgun type weapon. Moving on, I want to run through just a few as an example of the uniques, the other types, because you have to keep in mind that the Imperial Guard are fielded from millions of planets. They are trillions and trillions and trillions. They are uncountable amounts of Imperial Guard soldiers and personnel that are within the Imperium. So there is inevitably going to end up being a large number of differing lasgun types, laser rifle types. As an example of that, I'm going to run through just a few short reads of these different kinds of lasguns. Now, the ones I had read before, those are the more standard variants. Those are the proper variants. These are the more, again, I say unique, although they're, again, mostly the same, but let us go ahead and just get into it and you'll see what I mean. Now, there is the Cantrell pattern M36 laser rifle. The M36 Cantrell pattern Laz rifle is the standard variant of the Cadian Shock Troopers and the Severan Dominant. It functions about the same, just pretty much about the same, but it has its unique variant, its own design, specialized and made for the Cadian Shock Troopers and Severan Dominant. Moving on, the Cantrell MG short pattern. Now, the short pattern was the standard variant issued to Cadian Shock Troopers deployed to Battalis 3. Moving on, the MK4 Laz Carbine. Now, that Laz Carbine is the standard variant of the Catachan Jungle Fighters. The Lucius No. 98 pattern is the signature weapon of the Death Corps of Krieg. The Lucius pattern lasgun operates in the 21 megathal range, but is designed to draw from a standard Munitorum issued power pack. Consequently, the Lucius lasgun discharges a more powerful shot, but drains the power pack at a correspondingly increased rate. This also puts a great strain on the weapon, limiting the rate of fire and requiring such features as additional heat sink rings lining the exterior of the barrel. Even with such considerations, an overtaxed Lucius lasgun can quickly overheat. The added danger of the weapon overheating does not perturb the famously stoic Krieg. As you can see, certain guard regiments, their world provides them with their weapons, as they can produce that, and so they modify it in a sense, maybe in look, in slight power buffs, slight power decreases at the increase of accuracy, whatever the planet feels, whatever the guard feels, whatever just the state of the culture is, right? Again, state of the culture, what reason I say that, leading back to the Lucius No. 98 pattern, utilized by the Death Corps of Krieg. That is an example of the many different types of not only the variants of lasgun, but the variants in the lasguns within the different Imperial Guard regiments themselves. Now, as a little bonus, little tidbit, little fucking little num-num for y'all, I just want to go over the lasgun ammunition real quick. The lasgun ammunition is called power packs. And power packs are what provide the weapon's laser emitters with energy. They come in several types and sizes. Now, types include short, long, sickle pattern, box form, drum, and backpack. Sizes range from 1 to 5. Weapons designed for a particular size cannot use other standard sizes, and hot shot packs of the same size provide more powerful but less numerous shots. Power packs store vast amounts of energy via the use of liquid metal cores. The pack can be recharged in many ways, including sunlight or even being left slightly inside of a campfire, although this method will damage the power pack, shortening its lifespan and increasing its failure rate. It can also be overcharged, a trick used by guard veterans that causes the pack to explode, turning the weapon into a makeshift grenade. Now, this tactic is only used in last-ditch situations, as it results in the destruction of the weapon. The resultant explosion, however, is powerful enough to crack open the frontal armor of a Chaos Dreadnought. See, that is how much power something like that can have. That is amazing. You know, you already got the you already have the bolts of the rounds you can shoot, and if it comes right down to the knit and grit and you got an Imperial Guard soldier who's smart enough, well, fuck that Chaos Dreadnought, am I right? Now, that brings us to the end of the video. Again, I want to thank everyone for the support in the last couple of videos. I am curious, for those that have watched the A Guardsman and His Lasgun, the Warhammer short story I wrote, what I'm thinking is to have lore videos mixed in with little fan-made short stories of my creation to kind of, I don't know, try and get the fucking channel some uniqueness to it. You know, I don't have my own proper computer yet. I'm using my wife's laptop as I'm fucking poor. But eventually, you know, I want to add some more high defness to it. I want to make it more professional, better audio quality, better effects, more types of content to give to y'all, to entertain for y'all, because that's all I want to do. So if that sounds like a good idea, if people would like those Warhammer short stories written by myself, then please do say. Again, any kind of feedback at all would be appreciated, because this is not just me being like, oh, the only way I can get off and let out a little nut is to see some comments hyping me up. No, my friends. While I will nut, I do still want to see them comments telling me how I can do better for y'all. Now, with that being said, I want to thank you, everyone who's made it to the end of the video. And with that, everyone, and I mean everyone, have a good fucking night. I'll see y'all later.